Hi, this is Callie. John will now demonstrate Virtel Web Modernization.
I'd like to give you a brief demonstration of an application that was created using Virtel Web Modernization so that you can see how it works and what it looks like. To start, I'd like to show you an application in its original 3270 screen-based format as presented using Virtel Web Access. The application is a simple two-screen application that could be used by travel agents to book trips and cruises for clients. Navigation is controlled by using PF keys, the PF8 for the next screen, and then PF7 to get back to this screen. Data must be entered as the CICS application expects it to be entered. Users must therefore become familiar with valid values and formats for CICS application codes. Dates must be entered in DDMMYY format, because this is the format expected by the CICS application. In addition, data entry is not intuitive because this is the way the CICS application was designed. For example, users must enter the return trip data in full, even though it could be assumed from the outward trip data, as travelers typically return from the location they traveled to the location they traveled from. I will now change the PDT code and press Enter on the keyboard to validate the screen entries. Note that entering bad data is not detected at the time of the data entry. It is only detected after all data has been entered and the Enter key is pressed. To correct a bad entry, I must return to the PDT field and enter a valid code. Now that the data is correct, when I press Enter, a message will appear in the screen stating that the data is valid. I will now navigate to the second data entry screen by pressing the PF8 key, where more data would then have to be entered. This would include entering the name and address of the traveler, even if the traveler was already known to the travel agent. Now, let's show the same application as modernized using Virtel Web Modernization. This demo illustrates the look, feel, and additional features and functionality that one can get by custom developing new Virtel presentation templates. As you will see, the presentation and functionality are greatly improved. However, none of the CICS application code from the original application has been modified to implement the new web presentation and features, and both the original 3270-based application and the modern presentation remains available at all times. The 3270 users will see the legacy 3270 screens, while web users will see the new web pages. Now let's look at the improvements that are provided by Virtel Web Modernization. The PF key navigation of the 3270 interface has been replaced by tab navigation. The tabs Travel Reservation and Client Information correspond to the two CICS 3270-based application screens. The record status field is specified via a static drop-down list. Plain English literals are shown to the user, but CICS application code values are returned to the CICS application, which is unaware of the drop-down list. The package type is specified by a dynamic drop-down list, which is generated from a file accessed either on the mainframe or within a client-side network. Upon selection of the package type, a context-sensitive drop-down list that shows the travel packages available for sale that day is created, and the pricing and minimum deposit information for a default number of 4 travelers is shown. Next, I will select the traveler's count, which leads to automated recalculation of the price to adjust it to the traveler's count. Cancellation insurance has become a selection box where if I check it, it means that cancellation insurance is requested. Clicking on the Trip Planner plus sign opens a new area within the web page which is pre-filled with departing and returning country and airport information based on the selected travel package and generated from information external to the mainframe application. Clicking on either date icon triggers a JavaScript widget that displays a graphical calendar. The selected date value is returned to the CICS application in the selected day-day, month-month, year-year format. And clicking on either time field triggers a JavaScript code that displays a drop-down list with hours. Now I will click on the Enter button to validate the entry. The message Journey Data Entry Validated is displayed. Now I will click on the Client Information tab to move on to the second CICS screen. Clicking on the tab is translated to a PF8 key within the mainframe application, and the CICS application responds by sending the next CICS screen, which the Virtel HTML template displays as a new page. The client name entry has been upgraded with an Ajax suggest function so that a list of past or existing client names is suggested while the name is being typed. The user can select one of the suggested names at any time or type the entire name. I will select Arnu, and note that if the name of an existing customer is selected, the address, zip code, and city fields are automatically completed. The client's email address must be entered manually if the user wants to later on send an automatically generated invoice to the client as an email attachment. I will now enter my email address in that field and then click on the Enter button to validate the second screen data entry. And the message Validation OK, case validated for this customer is displayed. If I click on the Client History plus sign, I will trigger yet another added feature, which is a custom developed transaction that is executed to retrieve and send back the client travel history, which is displayed as a table using an HTML widget. The table rows can be sorted based on any given column data by clicking on the column header. Clicking a second time on the same column header changes the order in which the rows are organized. Finally, the new presentation allows the generation and emailing of an invoice in various formats, either PDF, comma-separated value field for a spreadsheet, or XML. It uses JavaScript code and a PDF generation program supplied with a Virtel product to generate an invoice from the trip data entered to this point. To activate it, I'll select the invoice format, which will be PDF. I'll click the Send Email button if I want to generate a document emailed to the email address entered in the client contact information, and then click the Generate button. This generates, displays, and optionally emails an invoice in the selected format, which can then be saved or printed.
Hi, this is Callie again. Next, we'll present some of the key benefits of modern web user interface.